This podcast has been brought to you by SeekersGuidance, the global Islamic seminary. Help us spread the light of prophetic guidance to millions around the world by becoming a monthly supporter. Make a small donation at SeekersGuidance.org/donate. For as little as $10 a month, you can help people find life-changing guidance.
La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah.
There's also a question that, what do I do if I feel irritable in Ramadan? And this is one of the tests of the fast, right? That لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, so that you may acquire taqwa, right? That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prescribed fasting for us so we may acquire taqwa. We acquire taqwa through the act of restraint that is the fast itself, but we also learn taqwa by holding oneself to upright conduct during the fast, because we know we're in a state of worship. So it's as if, when you're in prayer, if you get a bad thought that you shouldn't be thinking about, most of us would get rid of that thought during the prayer, because you're praying. Similarly, when you're fasting, you're in an act of worship, so you would avoid doing something that's not befitting being in a state of prayer. So, of being in a state of devotion, namely the fast. So if you find yourself irritable, for example, you get angry or you lash out against people when you're fasting, etc., this is part of the test of the fast. What do? Taqwa is to refrain. Right? Taqwa is to keep away from what is displeasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Fasting is imsak, is to hold back from the things that break the fast. In classical Arabic, fasting was used not only from food and drink, but also from speech. And it's used in that way in the Quran. So, we fast from ill speech. Right? We fast from ill speech. The Prophet ﷺ cautioned that the one who cannot hold back from backbiting and slander when fasting, what need does Allah have for their hunger and their thirst? What need does Allah have for their hunger and their thirst? The onus is on us to refrain, right? And that's a lesson in taqwa. Other people get other urges when fasting, right? Someone gets very lazy, so they don't want to show up to work because they're fasting. Part of taqwa is you gotta, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opens a surah, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you believe, awfu bil uqud. Carefully fulfill all your covenants. So, that's your taqwa test, that you show up for work. You run your own business. In Ramadan, you consider delivering things on time to your customers to be voluntary. It's not. It's a contractual obligation. So that's your taqwa test. Someone else may discover gluttony, right? That they get hungry, so they overcompensate for the fasting by eating extra. And now, there's a social dimension to the fast that is not ignored. That we meet family, we partake in the blessings of Allah, have gratitude, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, that eat and drink, but do not be wasteful. Do not be wasteful. What is wastefulness? Wastefulness is to go beyond limits without benefit. And wastefulness is to go beyond limits without benefit. So, for somebody, the gluttony test may be their taqwa training in Ramadan. That yes, I will, maybe after Taraweeh, I'll go for that pani puri or whatever. I remember one year at the Hub, we used to do Taraweeh puri, then pani puri. Okay? So we used to, some guys used to bring pani puri and they'd have that. Now that's fine. But if you keep splurging and overeating, then that's detrimental. So what do? You refrain. Yeah, you refrain. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us insight regarding our affairs, and that we learn from the school that is Ramadan. Imam Sha'rani, one of the great Imams of Islam, cautions that somebody who fasts and eats more than they do at other times in the year will have forsaken, will have given up much of what is supposed to be learned practically in the month of Ramadan. Right? Rather, when we experience hunger, what should we do? We should feel, number one, our neediness to Allah, and number two, we should be reminded about the need of those who are not refraining voluntarily, but who just simply don't have anything to eat. Right? So you get the urge that, okay, I've enjoyed myself tonight, I've eaten well, I'd like to have the fourth consecutive night of eating whatever special thing. Give that amount in charity. Give that amount in charity. Or go and enjoy, but also give in charity. Right? So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to open our hearts and minds. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi sallam walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.
Thank you for listening. This podcast was brought to you by Seekers Guidance, the Global Islamic Seminary. Visit SeekersGuidance.org to access reliable Islamic knowledge taught by qualified teachers. We offer a wide range of courses, podcasts, articles, and a world-class answer service. Support us in spreading free, reliable Islamic knowledge to millions around the world by becoming a monthly supporter. Visit SeekersGuidance.org/donate and make a small monthly commitment today. Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Whoever guides someone to goodness will have a similar reward." So don't forget to share this podcast and spread prophetic guidance.